We know why we're here. To redefine air travel for a new generation.
To ensure our forces are safer and stronger.
To take the world we share to tomorrow and beyond.
Around the globe, the people of Boeing are working together to make a difference.
That's why we're here.
You talk too much. I can't believe the things that you say.
Sam Brownback, Joe Lieberman,
Jim Webb, Arlen Specter, Mitch McConnell,
Joseph Biden, Richard Lugar, Duncan Hunter,
John Kyle, J. Rockefeller, Chris Dodd,
David Vitter, Chuck Schumer, Mike Huckabee.
Tim, tomorrow I'll be filing papers to launch an exploratory committee, and yes, I'll be out there. I always am going to err on the side of life, Tim. I believe life is precious, but I think the issue for many of us who are in the pro-life camp, and I have been since I was a teenager, this is not something that I've been all over the board on. It's consistent.
I've been standing for life all along, and I'll continue to, and I think other people in this race have not stood for life all along.
Well, for instance, you're talking about the fact that Governor Romney's position seems to have evolved since 1994.
Well, he'll have to stand on his own record. At times he's stated that he's pro-life, and at times he's stated differently.
I'm appalled, Tim, when someone says, tell me about your faith, and they say, oh, my faith doesn't influence my public policy. Because when someone says that, it's as if they're saying my faith isn't significant, it's not authentic, it's not so consequential that it affects me. Well, truthfully, my faith does affect me.
Do you think that a Mormon is a true Christian?
Oh, I'm not going to get into theological issues, and we don't have religious tests for public office in this country, and we shouldn't have them.
I think I've got what I consider to be the Republican, the conservative position on things like trade.
The last sitting House member to become president, James Garfield, 1880.
Well,
you're bucking history here.
You know, that's true. But on the other hand, somebody's got to win this race.
So I'm open to supporting a Democrat, Republican, or even an independent if there's a strong one.
Joe's is an independent Democrat, I think is how he characterizes himself. And in the end of the day, I think Joe will be in my corner. And I wish I could have that vote back. You don't get to get it back. So an answer politicians don't like to give is I was wrong. And I was wrong. I regret that vote deeply. But I'm not going to compound it by making more mistakes as we go down the road here, which is what the president's asking to do, and Congress has to meet its obligation.
The question is, can I raise the money? I think I need $20 million to get me into and through Iowa. I am absolutely confident. If I get to stand on the stage, sit in the room with all the candidates you mentioned, I'll do just fine.
Who would be the strongest Republican who would instill the greatest fear among Democrats like you?
Well, look, I think it's a combination of Sam Brownback, catching fire in some of those early states.
I think Edwards is going to be the nominee. That's just where I kind of look at the landscape, and I think Edwards would present a real challenge to the Republican Party.
Will there be an opening, do you think, a year from now for a Republican who's a little bit more quick?
I'm skeptical of that. There may be an opening for somebody who shows independence, but not somebody who takes a dovish position.
Before these hearings began, Senator John McCain, who's a longtime friend of mine, I have a great respect for him, pulled me aside and he basically said, we have to conduct this debate in a way that does not impugn the patriotism of either side. And I hope Senator McCain and others will remember that. I don't believe that there is any politician who has the right to say that he or she is speaking for the troops.
This plan is going to be, we believe it's going to be a flop.
I'll be supporting John Warner's resolution. I've stated that to him.
Senator Warner, it simply states that the Senate disagrees with the policy of sending more troops. Can you sign on to that?
No, I don't think it's at all helpful. I have doubts about the surge situation, both in terms of the numbers of people and so forth.
On this state of the record, Bob, I cannot support sending additional troops to Iraq. A non-binding symbolic resolution. All right, explain to our viewers why.
Because it puts the American Congress on record. The American people are already on record as of the last election.
Have you ever had a hard time understanding that, what senators say? They're on record all the time, every day. Jay Rockefeller and I are talking to you today.
But let me then have you expand on something else.
Okay.
The strategy.
No one
for
ever asked me
victory.
to expand. I'm flattered.
Well, here's
I'm
the start.
flattered.
Here you go.
You talk too much. I can't believe the things that you say.
Boeing,